Okay, good morning, everybody. So please unmute yourself and make sure there's no, try that there's no background noise because I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. So I'm assuming that you have watched both SOAP and RESTful web services. So, but let me step back and ask a couple of questions, or let me step back and talk a little bit about the web services. I'll make sure you got the concept. So, what is a web service, by the way? Anyone? Why would I need? We have been working on the web-based applications, web applications for the last couple of months, ever since we talked about servlets. So we have been happy with it. So, but why do we need web service? What exactly is a web service?
For an application to talk to the web and do some information, but for the applications,
Right.
that's what used to be before Fielding's proposal. That's
Right.
what a web service is, as opposed to a website, which is basically a responder to browsers.
Right.
This is what I understand.
Yep. That's the perfect understanding. But anyone else? Let's talk. So anyone can give a real-time usage of a web service, because web service is one of the most important topics in interviews. So can any of you tell me a, a perfect real-time example?
It is used to communicate to different programming languages, probably. Like if you're developing a code on Java and you have to interact with the calls for one of the code developed on .NET.
Right.
So it's like a communication between the two different external languages.
Right. 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 That's absolutely perfect answer. So we are in US. We are in the US, and my family is in India. Okay. So today is Father's Day. I wanted to send something to my dad. Okay. So we use a couple of websites here, and I can tell you one of the websites is just to give you an idea of a real-time web service. This just popped up in my head right now in this second. So here, right, there is a website called us2ap us2guntur.com. Here, this is a website where you can send something from US to India, Singapore to India, UK to India, to your family. Okay, I'm sure there are tons of examples, but here, let's say I bought some cake and flowers. Okay, so let's say I'll add to cart and then proceed to checkout. Now I'll give my user ID and password, and then I'll sign in. So then we are in US. It gives number of options, right? So you can give credit card information, or you can give PayPal information. So PayPal, I'm sure you're all familiar with what PayPal is. So here we are talking about this gift shop website. Okay. So we have a gift shop website on this side. So you are doing a purchase here. But once the payment comes, the payment has to be done by someone else. So let's say PayPal. PayPal is an eBay company. So once you have a PayPal account, you can attach your bank account or credit card details to a PayPal, and you can use your PayPal rather than giving your credit card information or bank information to every shop in the US. What you can do, rather, you can actually use PayPal to pay for any of the purchases. So PayPal is here. Today were not Father's Day, then I would have picked up some other example. This just popped up because I just happened to use this site to send, you know, to my dad. So gift shop website. You bought something. It's me here. Okay, I bought cake and flowers, and then once added to cart, and then whatever this one is, check out all of this, right? So once you sign in, once I signed in, then it gives you various payment options, and one of the options is PayPal. Now, once I give the username and password of the PayPal, okay, so this gift shop website is going to call this PayPal something, PayPal code, and it passes all the information that we have given here, maybe the username and password, or a little bit more information, how much it costs, whatever that one is. Okay, hey, it costs $30. He wants to use PayPal, so can you please redeem $30? So this guy, PayPal, will pay to this gift shop guy later. Let's not worry about that. But at this point, this gift shop website is trying to communicate with PayPal. As a person, you can also log into PayPal and do something. Definitely, as a human being, as a person here, you can definitely log into PayPal and do other activities. This is a human web. You can definitely log into PayPal and do your stuff. This is human web, the regular website that we have been building up, right? The point here is that a person does not want to communicate with the PayPal. Here, there is an application automatically. There is a piece of code here at the gift shop website. From the gift shop website, this guy wants to communicate with PayPal, saying that this particular, on his behalf, this is going to communicate with PayPal and saying that, hey, it's me, gift shop website. Can you please make sure, can you please redeem, or can you please withdraw so much, $34, okay, from his account. So here you have a web application here. Okay, this is a perfect gift shop website. This is what we have been building. And I'm sure PayPal also has a website, as I just showed you, paypal.com. We'll be able to build that too. Not a big deal. But the point here is that this application is trying to communicate with another application, not a human being. It's not a human web. It's an application to application interaction. So once you give your username and password, the PayPal username and password, okay, it's going to call the PayPal website and say that, hey, this particular person wants to use PayPal for this much dollars. Can you please withdraw it? And then once you do whatever you need to do here, you confirm that you are the person. And after that, so how do you think this guy is communicating this? Meaning this application is communicating with PayPal. That is called web service. Well, there are two kinds of web services: SOAP-based web service, RESTful web service. Forget about it. But in both the cases, it is called a web service. Actually, For these two applications, it doesn't have to be web service. It can be any other architecture too. Meaning, there is a Java code here running in PayPal servers. Okay, .class files within this JVM. He can expose it as something called, using an architecture called remote method invocation, RMI. Nobody is using it actually. 15 years back, we used to use it a little bit. Okay, so using this technique, your Java class can be called from a different JVM. Here, this guy also has a JVM, and this JVM can talk to this particular JVM using proper credentials, using proper username, password, and all the details. It can communicate. But this guy has to be Java, this guy has to be Java. So you are restricting your business now. I can only talk to people who are coded in Java. That's extremely bad idea. PayPal may have, as Rohit said just now, these guys may have implemented in Ruby or something else, .NET. These guys may have done in some other language, maybe Java. So here, applications written in completely different programming languages are able to communicate. Because even though whatever the programming language that they are using internally, when they communicate with the other applications, they use standardized protocol, standardized data format. And that standardized format, let's talk about the format in a second, but that standardized protocol, the protocol for communication is HTTP. So they both talk over HTTP. And HTTP, we know, that's the website. We have been talking about HTTP protocol for the last couple of months. Right? So everyone can understand HTTP. We can take HTTP request. We can also post HTTP requests. We can do both. So we use HTTP protocol for the communication. So this guy will expose something. This guy will expose something for gift shop or any other companies. PayPal is exposing not exclusively for gift shop. If that's the case, then PayPal will end up exposing only 100,000 applications just to accept it. No, they're going to expose just one, and then every company. You go to bestbuy.com, big companies like bestbuy.com, they accept PayPal, then they communicate. Same web service. And Best Buy may have written in different programming language. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows HTTP. It says that, hey, give me this particular data over HTTP. And now, what is the data format going to be? Well, that is where the differences between the SOAP web service and RESTful web service mainly comes from. So the SOAP uses XML, and not only, but it's not plain XML, it's actually SOAP encoded XML, meaning there is a different protocol that they introduced called SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol. People even forgot what that abbreviation is because it doesn't make any sense anymore. So this SOAP sits on HTTP, meaning HTTP will still be used as a transport layer, but they you cannot send the plain XML. Rather, you have to wrap that XML in a big SOAP envelope, and within that you have a SOAP body and SOAP header. There are two sections, and you have to send it. Even when you are getting, in this case, I'm posting some information to PayPal, so HTTP post perfect sense. Weather information. How many websites have you seen that post the weather information? Right? We have seen probably thousands, if not more. So all of these guys are getting the weather information probably from a couple of sources. Government websites, and there are a couple of bigger organizations, who maintains the weather accurately for each zip code. But you have these thousands of applications. Everybody has to go to that particular source of truth, and they say that, hey, this is my zip code, can you give me the weather? Once it gives the data back, how you represent is up to you. We've been talking about how to parse the JSON and show it how nicely it is using jQuery like frameworks, right? So one of the differences in SOAP is that even when you are getting the data from an application, you are still doing a HTTP post, which is semantically wrong. Semantically, meaning if you care about semantics, right? That's where Roy Feelings came into picture, and then he said that, hey, one you are posting for every single thing. You're doing a HTTP post even when you're getting, oops, something is happening. Even when you're getting some, this is like your let's say Yahoo weather. So Yahoo obviously doesn't maintain the weather by itself. It has to go to some other source. Let's say this is a government website, or a government is exposing all of this data about the weather for every single zip code in the US as a web service. So, but they may not have a perfect UI, or we may not like that particular UI. But Yahoo is very good at providing the excellent UI. So what these Yahoo people did is they're getting the data from these government websites. They're getting the data back, and then they put their own face. They put their own front end. So the differences between SOAP and REST is that in SOAP, even though I want to get the weather data, I'm doing a HTTP post, which is semantically wrong. It's, hey, why are you posting it? HTTP itself is providing all of these methods. If you want to get it, use HTTP GET. Why did you write one more layer on top of plain HTTP? And then you said everything has to be post. Why? I provided already as part of HTTP spec. Then why are you reinventing it? Why do you need one more layer on top of it? You don't need it. Use plain simple HTTP, and HTTP has all the methods. If you want to get something, use HTTP GET. If you want to post something to the server, then HTTP post. We know this. If you want to delete something, use HTTP delete method. And then also, another interesting point is that when SOAP web service was introduced back probably 15 years back, XML was so ubiquitous. Everything was XML based. Later on, especially these Web 2.0 technologies like jQuery and umpteen number of JavaScript frameworks. Probably there are 50 to 100 JavaScript libraries out there right now. So when a lot of these JavaScript frameworks came into picture, they were all dealing with these JavaScript objects. I think we talked about the JavaScript objects. This is how a JavaScript object looks, whatever you put it here. And then your keys will be in the double quotes, colon, and then value, comma separated, right? Key value, key value, key value. And your object will be inside this one. And if you have an array, you'll have these array brackets. So that's how the traditional JavaScript objects are. So that is why the JSON became JavaScript object notation data format became popular. And then we are kind of rethinking about the web service now. Hey, should it be XML? Does it make sense to be XML? Well, XML still makes sense in certain cases where you need a strong contract, because XML has stricter contract in the form of XML schema definition. But for all of these JavaScript-based frameworks, it makes a lot of sense to use JSON. But SOAP web services do not support any other format other than XML. So that's where the RESTful web services came into picture. And the REST says that it doesn't have to be XML. Well, XML can definitely be used as a data format. So we support XML, and another format that's supported is JSON. And as we talked in the previous class, XML is more verbose than JSON. XML takes bigger payload. Payload size-wise, this is bigger than JSON. So in the case of mobile applications, battery is very important. So every single bit of information is important. So if JSON is 32 KB and for any request, for weather request, okay, if JSON format takes 32 KB and XML takes 40 KB, then I would go for JSON. The simple fact being that is because of the mobile phones. Here, transferring 32 KB is better than 40 KB. One, battery. Next, bandwidth. We don't have unlimited data in the case of mobile phones, right? So that is why JSON became very, very, very popular. So one difference is that you don't have to use post anymore. If you use plain simple HTTP methods. If you're getting something, use HTTP get. If you're creating something, do a HTTP post. If you're updating something, use HTTP put. If you're deleting something, do a HTTP delete. And XML does not have to be the data format. It can be JSON. It can be XML. Based on your needs, you use either of them. But especially for JavaScript, the new JavaScript frameworks, JSON makes perfect sense if you're building a nice UI. Okay? Another beautiful concept here is that, in fact, the most important than these 2 points is that that's the biggest point of Roy Fielding's, is that you don't have to differentiate between human web and a web service anymore. You write one thing for both of them. We have seen the other day how we got JSON. This JSON has been consumed by, how this JSON has been consumed by our website. Remember the other day, I will give you a product name. I will give you, let's say, AP. Then give me all the products that starts with AP. Apple phone, Apple iPad, or Apple Watch Gold, all of these products, right? This is for a website, like our own eShop website. But my point is that the same thing can be exposed as a web service. You don't need to differentiate it anymore. You don't need to write a separate code for web service. The same thing you can turn other side and say, once your eShop became so popular, okay, let's say there are some vendor sites. Your website is so popular like Amazon, and they want to sell your products in their websites. How about that? And they need an ability to search all the products in your eShop, but they want to write their application. They have their own web application. They want to write their own web application, but they need a way for them to get all the products, or they will give you this product name that starts with, and you need to be able to give all the products. It's the same code you are using for your website and the same code you are exposing it as a web service. So you're not differentiating between human web and application web. That's another beautiful point from RESTful web service standpoint of view. So my biggest point here is that keep your eyes open from today. Every single day, think of, while shopping, while playing with these apps on your phones, think of it. Hey, can this be a web service? What web service could it be? Could it be a SOAP web service? Could it be a RESTful web service? So every place. So you will find a lot of these, all of these application to application interactions. Let's say we all know about these insurance companies, right? Like you applied for a home loan, or you applied for a car loan, right? So okay, John, car owner, this guy went to a small bank or a credit union, wants to apply for a car loan, right? This is a credit union, let's say, or it's some ABC bank. Okay, he wants to apply for loan, car loan, right? And now obviously this guy wants to know how risky this guy is. ABC Bank wants to know how this guy, this John, how risky this John is. So he needs to find out his credit score, right? So now tell me, a bank person here, do you think a bank person here, so credit score, there are 3 credit bureaus in the US, right? These are big credit bureaus, like Equifax, TransUnion, and one more. Anyone remembers? Equifax, TransUnion, and there is one more. I forgot. Whatever, there are 3 credit bureaus. So they collect all of your credit information, and they'll give you scores. Let's say your credit score is 658. Let's say your credit score is 720. Let's say your credit score is 703. A lot of companies, some companies take the middle number between these 3, and some companies they average out. There are a lot of strategies. Anyways, so this guy wants to get the credit score from all these three companies, right? Or maybe this guy is doing business with TransUnion. This guy has this guy has some tie-up with TransUnion. So let's say this guy communicates with, yes, Experian. Experian is the third one. Thank you, Jyoti. So Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. These are the three companies, credit bureaus, that's what they call it. All these three companies, they give credit score for every single person in the US. So let's say ABC Bank does with TransUnion. So these people expose web services. So you just give me the social security number. Okay, give me your social security number, first name, last name, and certain other piece of information, date of birth, another piece of information. This guy gives credit score. So this guy, banker here, who works for ABC Bank, do you think this guy logs into TransUnion and enters all of this guy's John information here and get credit score? No. He already entered all of this information in ABC Bank. One click of a button here, just say that, show me your credit score. And this guy, an application here, this is like our website that we have been building. Here, this guy will prepare a request, send it to this TransUnion as a web service request. It gets the response back. It parses the response and show it to, hey, your credit score is 720. It is showing, in fact, a banker here does not even know that ABC Bank is going to TransUnion under the hood. Banker doesn't even know that. It's thinking that ABC Bank is getting from its own database or something. But no, it's actually communicating with some other application. All of these are examples of web services. From morning to evening, every single day you will see hundreds of examples. Without web services, our life would have been completely different. You open, being a regular Joe, you open your phone, right? Right? Like your Apple iPhone weather app. Open up your weather app. Do you think your phone is storing the weather? How do you think weather app is getting the weather and displaying nicely on your phone? There is a centralized weather service. There is a weather app is actually in iPhone. It's built by Yahoo. So this is Yahoo app. Okay. Of course, it's actually pre-built. I mean, Apple will give you by default, right? But it's actually built by Yahoo. So this is just UI. Real brain is somewhere else on the cloud. So here they have a Yahoo web service. Yahoo web service for weather. Which I don't think it is getting from its own database. It has to be making another web service call to another government site somewhere. Do you think all of these thousands or hundreds of thousands of apps or websites who are showing the weather, they're getting the weather by themselves? They're maintaining the weather in their own databases? Nope. In the entire US, probably a good 10 people could be maintaining all this weather information across the US. And every single app, every single website must be either directly or indirectly going to that place to get it. So this guy only maintains the data. and he exposes it as a web service. In fact, he sells it. So your phone is actually making a web service call. In this case, I'm 99.9999% it's a RESTful call. Okay, so here it's actually making a RESTful web service call and then gets the JSON back. Once you get the JSON, it's showing it. All this guy does is show it nicely, and this one parses it and show it nicely. Make sense? So don't think that web service is something different. We use it every single day, either knowingly or unknowingly. Understand? Are you guys feeling a little better? Because I know just by watching those videos, maybe you didn't get much better.
Much better, because I didn't get an interpretation of this app to the thing that you explained just now.
Right.
From the front end of the browser going to the app, like going to TransUnion, PayPal,
Right.
all those things.
Right.
That example I was lacking. I didn't see it fully, but I was lacking that example.
Right.
And now I get an interpretation of the whole thing.
I don't know how much explanation I gave when I talked about those web services, a couple of years back, but I thought, those under the hood technical stuff is one thing, but I thought I have to give, little more. Now things have changed. The other day I was actually, when I was thinking about this JSON and web services, I was like, just searching for it, like weather web service JSON. I was just searching like that, okay, and I found this. See, that's why it's in this color. See, openweathermap.org. These guys, they have exposed web service. I don't know whether they are storing the data or internally they may be going to some other place to get it. Okay, and there is a AccuWeather. Actually, there is a AccuWeather. I think we all know AccuWeather. Let's go to AccuWeather.com. We all know about AccuWeather.com. If not, it's a simple weather site. It's like weather.com. Okay? So if you think that these guys, you just give your what happened? Yeah, give your zip code or your city and state. It gives you the weather and coming 10 days weather, hourly weather, all of this, right? If you think that AccuWeather if you need weather, you have to go to AccuWeather and then that's all their business, you're wrong. The biggest part of their business is, of course, you can go there and get the weather information, absolutely. But the biggest part of their business is that they expose API. They expose a RESTful API for any of the websites you may be building. Hey, our eShop, isn't it nice for our users or for our consumers to know their weather in their own area? Doesn't it make sense? Probably we want to give that as a gift to our consumers. Wherever they are, we want to give. But do we say, one option is, hey, if you want to check the weather, please go to AccuWeather.com, or we'll provide a link, click here and we bring it here. How bad the user experience is. You want him to stay in your website as much as possible. But for simple things like weather, you want him to stay there too, right? So these people like AccuWeather, they expose the RESTful web services. You give the zip code, okay? It gives all of this information, but not this way. It gives in the JSON format or XML format if you like. And then you call it, that's actually paid service too. You call it, they'll give you the data and you show it in your websites. So your consumers think that, wow, this guy is, eShop guy started showing the weather. Wow, maybe they're, a guy, an average guy, okay, who doesn't know anything about the web services, may be thinking that, wow, this guy, man, maintains the weather in database, eShop guy. I thought this guy does only online groceries or Amazon like site. But this guy does that one too. But we don't do anything. We just call the web services and then we just build the UI. Okay, so you got it? And they have the API actually. Other day I found out, but you just have to pay for this. I don't know where this one is. AccuWeather API. AccuWeather app, nope. They have their own app, but AccuWeather REST API, api.accuweather.com. Click here for an example. Sure. See here, m.accuweather.com/un/your state, all of this. You pass your zip code. Okay, you pass your zip code and you say current weather and then your partner code. You'll be given an exclusive partner code and you get it and you get the JSON. It's big business. Not only with weather. What do you think about these three companies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian? Shall I tell you one thing? These banks, they don't want to go to one of these credit bureaus. They want to get all the credit scores from all of these companies. A lot of there are a lot of companies that exist. They sit on top of it. Look at it, how smart they are. I mean, it could be one of us. So we are smart guys. It's probably 10 years back. We understand that, Equifax definitely has their web service, but Equifax doesn't talk to TransUnion or anything like that because these are all competitors. Equifax, they have their own, may not be competitors, but they're all on the same level, right? Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. But all of these banks on the other side, they are making three different calls. If the ABC Bank needs all these three pieces of three credit scores, then they have to make three different calls, right? I think you're all getting where I'm going. So a lot of companies, they built another layer of web service here. Let's say we did this. Okay, let's say we call it one source credit score or something like that. Some crazy name that we built a company like this. Okay, one source credit score. Our marketing technique is that, hey, you don't have to go to all of these three guys, okay, to get your credit score. You just come to me, okay. I will under the hood gather all of the credit score from all of these companies and give you a personalized view. I'll give you credit score from Equifax. I'll give you credit score from TransUnion. I'll give you credit score from Experian. I'll give from all of these guys. So we expose one API for all of these banks. These banks don't have to go to these three credit unions anymore. You just come to me and I internally go to all of these three guys and get the data back and then expose a neat API. So there is another opportunity for business here. You see what I'm saying? A layer on top of these three companies. Are you guys getting it? There are a lot of companies that exist that just does that. Make sense, guys? Everybody, did you
Yeah.
understand?
Yes. But one thing,
Yes.
how does it impact our Spring application? That's the next thing, right?
That's the next thing, yes.
Okay. Okay, no problems.
Anyone?
Venkat, one quick question at this point.
Mhm.
Slightly digress. Have you heard of any company called Mark Logic in connection with this RESTful web services? Are they the manufacturer or product developers of
No idea.
this?
No
You don't
idea.
know. Okay, no problem. That's fine.
I've never heard of them.
Mhm.
So obviously, when we talk about web service, the next one, the most important thing that comes to discussion is are you a consumer? Are you a producer? That's the next point. The immediate point is that we need to understand these two things. It doesn't matter which web service it is. It can be SOAP, it can be REST. I don't care. But every web service has these two important. There are two important players. One is producer, and the other one is consumer. It's pretty straightforward. Straightforward, right? So whoever is providing the data is a producer. Whoever is consuming the data is a consumer. Nothing more, nothing less. In this case, AccuWeather is a producer or a consumer. AccuWeather is a producer. Absolutely. So you ask for the data, they give you the data. And if we are using AccuWeather data to show the nice weather in our website, we are the consumers of AccuWeather API. Agree? So in this case, Equifax is a producer, obviously producer. So tell me, ABC Bank. ABC Bank is consumer. It's not in this context. In this context, it's a consumer of this credit score information, right? Now tell me about OneSource credit scores. Is it a producer or a consumer? Any of you?
It's both. Both.
Okay,
In my opinion, it's both.
it's both. Yep. Anyone? Yes, yes. Can you speak, Uma? You're typing, but we can talk. That's correct. Producer for ABC, but so
Yes, a
this
consumer.
guy. Go ahead.
It's a producer for ABC, but it will be the consumer for this
Exactly.
credit.
It's a producer for ABC. It's producer for ABC like banks, right? It's producing the information that's aggregated information from all of these three sources, but it's actually consumer of the data from these three different sources. Simple. You got it, Deshkan? Yes. That's another. When you speak in the interviews also, we'll say that every time there is a context of web service, the immediate question is, did you produce the web service or did you consume the web service? Okay, so a lot of times we do both. We can do both, or sometimes we consume it. If you say that you're a bank guy, you can definitely say that, hey, we did this application and we needed the credit score information. We went to this third party vendor, which internally going to all of these three credit bureaus. Okay, there are a lot of vendors out there like that. It just aggregates the data and give you They'll just expose one web service. So you can say in that case you consumed. Maybe this bank is exposing its bank information to someone else. Keep that in mind, that the data does not have to be exposed outside of your company. Even though you are a producer, you do not have to expose your data to outside of your company to be called as a producer. Let's say you are an ABC bank. We understand that ABC bank is a consumer of the credit score information. Let's say this is an ABC bank. Right? And it has a lot of bank information. It has all the customer information. It has, let's say, 600,000 customers. Within this ABC bank, okay, all of this is ABC bank. Within this ABC bank, you have, let's say you have a CRM application, customer relationship management application. Here, they always deal with the customer. Let's say you consumer, this guy is a consumer, right? He has an account in ABC Bank. Guy is making a phone call like 1-800 ABC Bank. And then there is typically a person here called CSR. Anyone knows what CSR stands for? Customer Service Representative, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this CSR, whoever you speak to, you as a consumer, you speak to, hi. So this lady or this gentleman will ask, hey, can you please verify your last 4 digits of your social? Can you please verify your mother's maiden name? All that stuff, right? This CSR. Now this guy has a question and she needs to be able to answer. So for this lady or gentleman to be able to answer his question, he needs to be able to look up this customer information, and he needs to be able to see the customer information. For that, they typically use these CRM applications. Okay, so they have their own. There are various PeopleSoft CRM, Siebel CRM. There are a lot of applications out there. So these CRM applications, so all the bank information is stored in the database here, right? All the bank information is stored somewhere in the database here. And then what bank does is they create the data like web services. They expose as a web services. That is why I was saying web services do not have to be exposed outside of your company. Maybe you design your application, your web services to expose the data consistently across all of your applications, ABC Bank's applications. Okay? So this CRM application, like your Siebel CRM, PeopleSoft application, all of this one, they go to these web services. These web services go internally to the database, and some other places it gives the data back. So in this case, these web services have been exposed. This data has been exposed to this CRM application and several other internal banking applications, but this data is not being exposed to the outside world, outside of the bank. That is totally fine, is my point. If you are going to claim that you produced a web service, you can definitely draw a scenario like this. Hey, we exposed all of our banking information or some other information, our company's information, to our internal applications like our CRM applications. A lot of companies have this automated machines. There's one more, automated phone systems. They call it IVR, IVR applications. You know what is IVR? Interactive voice response. There are some tools here. There are a lot of vendors out there that provide this interactive voice response. Press 1 for banking information. Press 2 for mortgage information. Okay, please enter your social security number followed by pound. That is called IVR application, interactive voice response. So when you call, when a consumer calls 1-800-ABC Bank, it could go to, not it could, it absolutely will go to your IVR application. So when it asks you to enter your account number or social security number, how is it getting? When you call your bank next time, pay attention to this architecture. Or after the class today, you call your 1-800 bank, whatever your bank or credit card, it will say that please enter your 16-digit credit card number, or please enter your last 4 digits, and then please enter your 5-digit zip code. How is it recognizing that it's you? It's taking the phone number that you're calling from. It's taking the last 4 digits of your credit card number, and it's taking the 5-digit zip code, and internally this automated machine, interactive voice response machine, is actually making a web service call to its internal, to that particular credit card company's web service, and it's getting the data, and upon receiving the data, it will determine the call tree where it has to go to. Okay, looks like you have 2 accounts with us. Which one do you want to access? Please press 1 if you want to go to banking information. Press 2 for credit card information. All of this web services. So if you're going to defend yourself, saying that, hey, obviously when you say that I worked on web services, he's immediately going to ask you, hey, did you work on RESTful or SOAP-based web service? Well, you can say you've worked on both. We'll talk about a little later why you may want to do both, or why one the other. But now the next question is, were you a producer or a consumer? Well, we did both. Well, right? So, okay, can you tell me about your producers, how you produced the web services? Who did you produce to, and what's the architecture there? This exactly. So whatever the data, the customer data that we have here has been exposed as web services to our internal applications. You have your CRM application, IVR applications, and you can have your any other internal applications. Okay. Or this is your phone app. Maybe your bank started phone app. Okay, this is your iPhone app or Android app, right? So a lot of times what these banks do is that they will outsource this app business to other experts. Okay, they will take care of all of this front end, and they're experts in coming up with this nice UI and excellent apps. They're all good at that, but they need the data. You need to be able to provide that data in the form of web services, and this iPhone app will call your web services and get the data and then provide a nice little app. And now the ideal architecture would be is that your real website, your abcbank.com, you also go to web services to get the data for your website also. So everyone, your abcbank.com is going to this centralized web services to get the data, or to post the data. Your iPhone app is going to the centralized web services to get the data or to update the data. Your CRM application is also going to web services to get the data or update the data. Your IVR, all of your applications, every single application is going there. So it's a common or shared or one source of truth. One source of truth. Everyone goes there and everyone gets the same information. If ABC Bank finds its own way of getting the data from somewhere, it's possible that the data inconsistency can happen, right? But here, look at it. So every one of them within the bank is going through the shared web services. That is why a lot of companies have the shared services team, TSS team. Some people call it TSS team, or it's a very crucial team who work on this particular, the most crucial piece of any bank or any organizations nowadays. This guy. And they go to various sources. They go to database. They go to other sources. Okay. They go to vendor places to get some data. All the right sources of truth. They go to the right places, get the data, and expose a unified API for everyone else within the bank, everyone else within your insurance company, wherever that one is. They expose this data. Make sense, guys? So
Yeah, Venkat. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. Oh,
Venkat, you mentioned that this thing, they give the APIs, they make the APIs available, the consumers, or rather the producers,
right.
and the consumers use them. Now, in order for the consumer to use it, they have to be familiar with the API and everything, right? How to use them, how to use them in the Java program.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, over here, the question is not only for these APIs, but for some other things like I had to do I was asked for a project in Amazon Web Services, all those kinds of things. How does one really go and know about the API? Java is fine, but how to really, in a new environment, how to know about the API and start working?
Right.
With this example.
These web services people, these producers, this TSS team here, the shared services team, they provide a good documentation, especially one area or a couple of areas that SOAP still dominates. REST is the proper documentation in the form of WSDL. SOAP has the proper API in the form of WSDL, Web Services Description Language. Okay? Once you go to the WSDL, completely tells you what is the operation, what are the inputs, what are the outputs, which one is required, which one is optional. It tells you the whole story. On the REST side, also we have certain APIs, but 9 out of 10 times these people give very good documentation. They provide very nice API, very nice documentation. These web service producers. As a producer, your duty is not only to expose a shared web service, but also to provide exhaustive documentation of how to use it, even with the examples also these people provided. And that's your duty. If you may be working here. Okay.
So I have to really import it, and then the major steps will be to import and then do implementation or extension, and then or both, and then proceed from there, right?
No. You're talking about the regular Java API. No. You're talking about the regular Java API. No. We are talking about web services here, not Java. Okay. If it's a SOAP-based web service, they will give you WSDL. Okay. From there, You build, there are different strategies. You build your Java objects counterparts, JAXB objects, and from there you go from there. And in the case of RESTful web services, then they will give you URL, and they'll give you this. In both the cases, it's called endpoint URL. The web service URL is called endpoint URL. And here, it also tells you what are your inputs, what are your outputs. And then you pass the URL with your input, you will get the JSON back. And then once you get the JSON back, you know what to do. You have to know what to do. And how to call this one. How to call this web service. And Spring MVC come into picture there. Spring MVC provide a nice API in the form of REST template. You will use this REST template to consume the web service and to expose a web service. In fact, we are talking about consuming the web service here, right? So you'll use this REST template. It's very similar to your JDBC template and other template method patterns. And if you want to expose a web service, your Spring MVC provides it. To expose it and use your REST template to consume it in the case of RESTful. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Venkat, in the case of web services, we have SOAP UI tools where we can import the SOAP projects and all.
Right.
But in RESTful, there is no tool, correct? It's just through.
No, there are tools actually. The REST client is one of them. If it's a HTTP GET, Jyoti, you don't need a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Browser is a tool, right? If it's a GET. If it's a post, that is why if it's a post, put or delete any of the other stuff, then if you want to deal with the accept headers, etc., you have a tool called REST client.
REST client.
Yeah, Chrome has a REST client plugin actually. Thanks, Antenna. Yes. You have REST client, you have Postman. So see here, you just provide your URL and provide your data here, and then just run it. I talked about this one also in our, this is the tool I've used. This is like SOAP UI. Before you go use your Java-based API, you may want to use like REST client or SOAP UI to really see what's going on out there. Just now to answer his Shovan's question too, before you start writing the Java code for that, what you need to do is first understand the API. What is the URL? What are the inputs? What exactly do you mean by API? Did you understand when I say API? It doesn't matter whether it's in Java or anywhere else. Okay, what are the inputs? What are the outputs? Which method do I call or which operation do I call? Simple, right? Now, go and watch these videos with this understanding. You will understand more clearly now. Okay, so I want to expose whatever we did in our eShop, right? So let's expose our products. So in our eShop application, we have a bunch of products. If somebody gives a product name that starts with something, it's like a product search. Yeah, maybe that's the right word. Let's say product search. So let's build a product search web service. Product search web service. So you give your product name that starts with, let's say, AN. Okay, then we will give all the products that starts with A, and Android tablet, Android games, Android, everything that starts with AN. Okay, so let's build that. And you may be asking, why do we need it? Well, based on this discussion, this is your eShop. Okay, and we wanted to use here, we wanted to provide live search. We wanted to provide live search. You know what is live search? We did this in the last class. As you type, for each character, we want to go to this web service, the RESTful web service, and get the data, and then we wanted to show it here nicely. Agree? So this web service, we are the consumers of this web service. We are the first consumers of this web service. But if our business grows to the next level, maybe there are some vendor companies. Maybe there are some vendor companies who want to sell our products on their own sites. They have their own websites. Understand here. They have their own websites. They sell other stuff too. But they're all small shops. We are a big Amazon-like shop. So they want to sell our products on their website. So they are saying that, hey, somebody will be typing here, or somebody will be asking for some products here. What they do is they call our web service and we give the data, and then they will display on their websites, and eventually we'll build, maybe we can expose one more web service for them to buy the stuff from us. Are you guys getting it? So it's called search product search web service. So we are the direct consumers. We are producing a web service which we are consuming it right now in our web application, but we are thinking future. The same web service can be exposed as an API to other applications. Those applications can talk to us too. Did you understand the intention clearly, everybody?
Like a price comparison website will pull from different websites for the same product?
Absolutely. Oh. That's a great example, Venkat Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are some price, exactly. There are some price comparison. Let's say this guy price comparison, and this guy pulls the data from this guy pulls the data from a lot of the companies like eShop. He goes to Amazon, pulls the data. He goes to eBay, pulls the data. He goes to Best Buy, pulls the data, and he goes to eShop also and pulls the data. And we give, thanks Venkat Krishna, that's a great example. So what we will do is, we not only give the product names, we will give the complete product object, meaning what is the category, what is the price of the product. We will give everything. How about that? So that they can compare the prices. Comparing the prices is their business, but when they ask for products that starts with some letters, we give all the products, not only just the product names. We are going to use only the product names in our website, live search, but we are exposing it, the price information also. That's a great idea. What do you guys think? Understand, everybody? Are we on the same page, first of all?
I didn't get this example. For example, if we have 5 products, and if someone asks for the products, we'll be displaying only those 5 products, right?
This is like a search suggestion. Let's say this is like a search suggestion, Oma. So give me the products, product names that starts with the Apple. Okay, you give me Apple, and I will give you all the products. Okay?
Yeah.
with their name start with Apple. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
We have 1 million products. We sell 1 million products in our eShop application. Okay, but there are 10 products that start with Apple, and somebody searched for Apple. Okay, some price comparison site. Thanks to him, right? So they sent Apple, and we will give them all the products that start with the name Apple, and we will give their prices also, and let them compare however they want to. Let them provide UI. Are we on the same page, Uma?
Yeah.
You are sort of, you're a little hesitant.
Yes. Like we are going to give all the products that starts with AP, and we are also going to give all the information related to the product.
Right. My point is that, remember earlier we not only give the product name is my point, Uma. That's all.
Got it.
For
Yeah.
every product, not only give the name, we'll give the name, we maintain in product.java, we maintain the name, we maintain the type, we maintain the price, right? All of the information, let's give it. So that maybe that price comparison site can compare the prices, right?
Yeah.
That way we get more leads to our eShop. That's a beautiful example, man.
Yeah, I got it now.
Right?
I was using the price comparison part. Now I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Venkat, one quick question. That is, since you mentioned that eShop application, as a consumer, as a producer, it could give its APIs, right? Okay. Now, to give APIs to me, what it means is to give the class libraries. Now, the class libraries would be like
No.
customer and all that?
No, that's not right. Actually, to give API to me is to give class libraries. That statement is not accurate.
Okay.
Anyone wants to correct, or any volunteers? To give API to me is to give class libraries. Why did I say that's not correct? First answer this one.
We
One
only
second.
expose, yeah.
Why did I say that's not correct actually? First of all, answer that question.
Yeah, Venkat is answering. Actually, let me hear him out. Let us hear him out.
No, I want him to answer this question actually. So
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Venkat Krishna, I mean to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think we only expose the methods that they want to see by our modifiers. Using the appropriate modifiers, we only expose certain methods. Is that right? I don't know. Rest of it, we make it private or we make it.
Sorry.
Okay.
So let's stick to this one. So I'll repeat what he said. API to me is to give the class libraries, and I'm saying that's not. I'm not saying it's completely wrong or something. It's not totally accurate. Anyone?
Okay, Venkat Krishna is telling that it's basically not library, not the class libraries, but it's certain methods. That's what he is adding, which may or may not be true. I'm not right. I don't know.
Any other thoughts? Think outside the box. Think outside Java. That's I can give you that clue. Rohit, you want to give it a try? Anyone? Jyoti, Madhavi.
I'm not clear about the question, Venkat.
API. We're talking about API. So we have a producer. Go ahead, Venkakrishna.
Okay.
No, he is speaking. Venkakrishna?
Deshikan.
Oh, Deshikan, you're speaking? Go ahead.
He's not clear about the question. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
Let's
we
go
have
ahead.
to paraphrase it. One more time.
Okay, the question is that talking about producer, right? So when you produce these bunch of web services, you produce the API. What exactly do you mean by that? So
You're exposing your methods and the classes for someone else to use that. Like the weather API is like
Is it
basically API is a
we just
interface,
provide the interfaces, correct?
and then like the weather API, they just expose the kind of link kind of thing, wherein like a user from like us can use the services to get our outputs. So the API does contain the methods actually. So like suppose for example if you want a weather as per the location like Troy, so wherein you entered your Troy as a location, what it will do is it just searches the fetches you the information weather information based on the Troy location. So API is just kind of like a method which you want to use it to call their methods actually.
right.
And even in terms of like web service, because like you are working on two different kind of application servers,
I got what
so
you're saying.
basically it's a mode of communication.
I got it. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think she said it right. It's an interface. It's an interface that is being exposed.
Mhm.
So the insight that can be hidden pretty well. So the interface just asks,
Yep.
and you can.
API is always interface. So Jyoti brought up a great point.
Yeah, great point. Yeah.
More points have been added from Rohit, Shovan, you, everybody. So, yep. But let me add a small this one. Think outside of Java. Does web service mean? Yes, Yuri, I want you to speak. Oh, but let me finish my thought, okay? Web services do not mean, or web services do not translate into classes and methods. Maybe they do in Java. Maybe they do not in other programming languages. Maybe we do not know what a method is in the context of web service. So think in that direction. So when you say web service, we happen to use Java as a producer, as a utility to produce the web services. We happen to use Java to consume the web services as a utility. But when you talk about the web service semantics, your classes and the methods, for that matter, interface too, does not come into picture. Now, putting these things into consideration, can you rephrase that? Whatever you guys said is absolutely right. But in the context of web services, that's probably too implementation specific. Now, but Yuri is the closest. API uses HTTP methods. Yes. So in the terms of web services, you always talk about the endpoint URL, HTTP methods, inputs, outputs. That's all API means. When we go to AccuWeather, earlier AccuWeather RESTful API, when we go to, there's no weather icons, display formats, unit types, basic samples. When you go to API, see, you always talk about the URL. You always talk about the endpoint URL, and you always talk about the endpoint URL and your HTTP methods, your inputs and outputs, especially in the context of web service. What you guys said absolutely makes sense if it were a Java library. But this one is not a Java library. This one is scope is much bigger than a simple Java library. The implementation can be Java, can be .NET, can be Ruby, can you be anything. There's no concept of class in the concept of in the context of web service. There's no concept of method for that matter in the context of web service. What we have is a URL. So when you say that to get the weather information, go to this particular URL. Current weather data, more, by city name. Look at it. This is API. Call current weather data for one location. You can choose these search methods by city name, by city ID. Aren't these methods? They are methods. If you end up providing this kind of web service, yes, there will be a method called get by city name, get by city ID, get by geographic coordinates, get by zip code. Absolutely will have it. But here, no. You will actually, what you will give is that you will just give your URL. You will just give your URL and your HTTP method is get. And then your input is your query, your Q. Your input is Q equal to London, UK, and your output is this whole thing. This is your JSON. And now there's a JSON validator. Put it to your JSON here, and then it will properly formats it. One of these tools. Look at it. Your coordinates, longitude, latitude, whatever the system information is, our message, country, sunrise, sunset, weather information, ID, main clear, description, sky is clear, icon, blah, base stations, main, temperature, minimum, max, pressure, sea level, whatever this GRND level is, humidity, wind speed, degree, clouds, date, ID, name, whatever the other one is. You got it? You guys get it? So each one of them is a method. So this is by each one of them is a method when it comes to the implementation for us. Right? But all you need is, in the case of RESTful web services, you need an API and which method which HTTP method. HTTP method we are using, whether it's a get or post or whatever that one is. And then get by city ID, there is a different URL for city ID. So every method has a different URL. So you all speak in terms of what is the URL? What's the first question that you ask when you're having a meeting with this open weather guy? You are a consumer, he is a producer. What's the first question that you ask? Give me the endpoint URL. Give me the URL. Okay, once you give the URL, since I'm getting the data from you guys, we can safely assume that it's HTTP get, but don't assume it. You ask, hey, what HTTP method do I call it? You want me to do a HTTP get or HTTP post or whatever? Okay, get. And what's the inputs? Okay, you want me to provide by zip code? Sure, I have the zip code. Do you have any method do you have any URL by city name? I have city names actually. Unfortunately, not every client of mine will have a zip code. Oh yeah, we happen to have a URL for that. So everything is URL. Understand? So it's little bit, it's more abstract than your classes and methods is my point. That's all. But what you guys said is correct. But what I'm saying is a little bit more than Java. I'm keeping all these implementation details here and then more abstract answer. You got it? Shovan, did I answer your question? Sean, is someone speaking?
Yes, Venkat, yeah.
Okay, so you understand, right, Venkatekrishna?
Yep, got it, yeah.
So
It's a very, very web-centric kind of communication, looks like. Yeah.
exactly. Because under the hood, he maybe it's not a method. In Java, we have a classes and methods. Maybe here, every URL maps to something else, right? We have no clue what he's using. Yes, we can't hear you, Shovan. So for some reason, but did you understand? You can text here. So, okay. So let's go ahead and look at how we can produce a web service, RESTful web service. The product search suggestions web service. Okay. That starts with something, and then I'll give you all the products, including the product information. Okay. So let's call this guy. Actually, eShop 8 is where we started it, but I'll call it eShop with web service. I'll call eShop. Sorry, eShop with sorry. eShop with RESTful. Okay, I'll call that. Just a side note, SOAP web service is not dead yet. Okay, so it's not completely dead, but it's less favored approach. It's not a dead technology or anything like that, but it will be dead one day. It's a very less favored approach. No new guy builds with SOAP web services unless there's some strong reasons. Their clients may not be able to consume the web services yet. RESTful web services yet. So in that case, it's probably will go for that. So to be able to expose a RESTful web service using Spring MVC, starting from Spring 3+, whatever we have been doing for a website, so all these while we have been doing this checkout controller, at request mapping, etc., right? So you can use the same annotations to expose a web service also. So I'll call this as, let's say, product search controller. Okay, and your web service also will have at controller. And then we'll say, give me the list of products. We have the product. Okay, give me the list of product. I'll call it get products, and then I'll take a request parameter. Name is key. This is what we did in the last class, right? Now, private product service, I believe. Yep, product service. The same code, whatever we have been doing it, there's no difference between your website and your RESTful web service, especially using Spring MVC. So the only difference here is that let's do request mapping, right? And then first we will get the service dot get all products. So let's get all the products from the database. Okay, these are all products, right? We got all the products from the database. We are loading all of them to start with. And then, is this the best approach? I don't think so. This is definitely not the best approach. Actually, you want to pass this key to the database, and from the database itself get those many. So you want to have get products like, and then pass this information, and you will get only those many number and then pass it on. I don't have a method like that in service class. So what I'm doing is I'm getting all the products and then looping through all the products and then say
would you repeat that best approach statement that you made once more, please?
Yeah. Give me a second. Result products equal to, now I'll say array list. So what I'm doing here is that service.get all products. If I have 10,000 products in my database, I'm loading all 10,000 products, but maybe there are only 10 products that start with Apple. This guy is giving Apple, and I'm loading all 10,000 products from database into my server memory, now looping all these 10,000 products, and now I'm filtering it.
Okay. Got it.
Does that make sense?
So you are, yeah. So what you're saying is you want a where clause to be executed in the code somewhere.
In the database.
I
want to pass this to the database, and database will say that select star from products where product like this guy.
So that's a DAO issue then.
Exactly.
In the DAO you would want to do
Absolutely.
That. Okay.
I want to do that in DAO, and I want to expose the corresponding service method. But since I don't have to spend time there because we know.
Okay.
Right?
We've already written that, and that's why.
Exactly. Okay. We know that. I'm just saying this is not a production ready code. But our goal here is not to talk about the Java performance. Our goal here is to how do we expose a data as a web service, right?
No problem. I got it. I was just understanding what it is, something new or what.
So I'm going through all the products, and now for each one of them, I'm checking here. Product dot get name dot starts with. If it starts with this guy, whatever you passed it to me, if it starts with whatever you passed it to me, then add it to this result products. Then yes, I'm interested in that product. By the way, I'm not giving only the product name. I'm not giving the list of strings here. I'm giving the list of products because I like Venkatakrishna's idea that, hey, maybe our web service will be used by the price comparison. The price comparison guy would be interested not only in name of the product, but also in type of the product and also mainly on the price of the product. Make sense? So result product, and then once I get the result products, I'll just return it. That's it. So here.
Okay, one question. So the get name method has a start with method under that.
Get name is a string. This is a string. String has a method called starts with.
Start name. Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Thanks.
If they string the name, let's say Apple iPhone. Okay. You give me A, I'll get this product. You give me AP, I'll get this product. APPLE.
Yeah.
If you
I
give
got
me
that.
that B, because B doesn't start with Apple. I mean, this guy does not start with B, right? So that's why we don't get this one. A typical search. We should make it case insensitive too, but that's fine. Okay. That's it. I'm giving the whole products. So now let me step back here. When we get the products, the list of products that we need to send it to my JSP, what have we been doing? Can anyone tell me and impress me on my last day? If I want to send this list of products to my JSP page, how have we been doing it? If I want to send this list of products.
Okay, model. You know that model thing that you did?
Yes, thank you.
I saw up to the last date yesterday.
So exactly. So you'll use model and view, and you give your view name, right? And then add this one as a model. This is a model, right? But with web services, it's slightly different. You are not making it as a model because I don't want our regular view resolver to be used. Let me step back if you get confused. We have a view resolver in Spring MVC, right? What does view resolver do? View resolver, you give a logical name, it resolves into a physical path of your JSP page using your prefix and suffix, etc. But as I told you, view resolver is an interface, and one of the implementations we have been using a specific view resolver called internal resource view resolver. This is what we have been using for our regular websites. Now, there is one more view resolver that we will use for our web services that is called, in Spring MVC, in the video also I mentioned it, it's called content negotiation view resolver. Content negotiation view resolver. This content negotiation, see here, content negotiation. Spring MVC, to use Spring MVC to expose your Java classes as a RESTful web service means that 90% is to understand the content negotiation view resolver. The way Spring MVC works is that your Java objects can be automatically converted into JSON. Your Java objects will be automatically converted into XML. Your Java objects will be automatically converted into HTML and other data types. I mean, you can specify other views too, but let's talk about JSON and XML because HTML is a plain old website thing. So we want to do either JSON or XML, right? Based on, for the same URL, you ask for /product /search / let's say suggestions. Okay? If you ask for this one and then question mark, give me key equal to Apple. Product /search / suggestions question mark key equal to Apple. The same URL, you can use the same URL. You do not need two separate URLs, one to produce JSON, the other one to produce XML. You can use the same URL to to produce both the outputs, both the data formats with a simple path extension, which is after your URL is done, before your query string starts, you provide your extension. .xml will provide XML response. .json will provide JSON response. This is done by a special view resolver called content negotiation view resolver. Content negotiation view resolver itself does not resolve it, but it actually negotiates with all the view resolvers that are found in the class path. All the view resolvers that are specified. And then it will ask, hey, I got a URL with .json. Can you tell me, can you handle JSON? Can you give me JSON back? I got a request for .xml, so can you handle XML? It will ask, it will negotiate with every single resolver out there. It does not resolve by itself. It rather negotiates with all the resolvers and finds out the appropriate resolver and resolves it. You just specify what your view should be. Okay, you can define your XML views, you can define your JSON views, and you say that, hey, to convert the Java object into JSON, please use this guy. To convert the Java objects into XML, please use this guy. And by the way, now it's not a regular Java term, but it's used across the industry. But to be specific in Java world, if you have a Java object like your product, right? This product is a Java object. To convert the Java object product into XML or JSON, you are converting the Java object inside JVM memory into, you are actually serializing into one of these formats. It's called serialization, or there is one more word called marshalling. Marshalling is nothing but converting your Java object into your appropriate data type, whatever that data format, whatever that one is, your XML, JSON, HTML, or your own format. That's called marshalling. And then if you have an XML or JSON and you are translating back this data into a Java object, that is called unmarshalling. These two words we need to understand. Marshalling and unmarshalling. Marshalling is to convert from Java object into XML or JSON. When you have an XML or JSON, load that as a Java object or deserialize it. There is a different word called serialization and deserialization. And there are two words, marshalling and serialization. They both are same. Unmarshalling and deserialization, they both mean the same. From Java object.
Venkat?
Yes.
See, in this serialization, having converted to XML or JSON, they are in ultimately ASCII text format, right?
Yes.
And I can open with an editor and see
absolutely,
them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're dumping it.
Okay, but this, yeah. But the serialization that we did earlier in in one of the examples, one of the like exercises, like a data file, I was deserializing and serializing all those things.
Right.
They were not really openable with text files, actually.
Right. What you did.
So this is opposed to that. Okay.
What you did. That's why serialization is more abstract than marshalling, actually. So what serialization is nothing but dumping whatever you have in memory into .ser file. Okay, which can only be read by, again, JVM. Again, use your object output stream and all that stuff. none of you guys, you don't have to worry about it. Whatever I'm speaking right now, if you don't understand it, no big deal. Okay, it's very specific. 0.0001% of the times you will use it. So once you have the SCR file, you can load it back into memory, and then you can get your Java object back. But the concept is same. Sean.
Okay.
So in this context, I want to limit Java object to XML or JSON is called marshalling, and then unmarshalling is when you have XML or JSON. So browser is giving you an XML and JSON, but here you need it as a product object. That is called unmarshal. Anyways, how we do it, we'll worry about that later. So we got it right. Now, one thing we did not specify is the URL. So we'll say that at request mapping, we'll say /product /search/suggestions. Okay, and then you pass me the key, and then I'll give you the list of product. But this is not a model. Keep in mind, right? The list of products, all this while, we have been putting this list of product into model object or model and view, and then setting it to the JSP page. But this one, I'm not using it as a model, and I'm not using regular internal resource view resolver. So this itself is a response body. So if you want to flush this guy out, flush an object back to the browser as a response body, this is the only difference between web service and your website is you need this annotation called at response body. That's it. Your list of products will be flushed out as JSON if you ask for it. Okay, so that's it. We are done. But
Venkat, I have a question.
yes.
Oh, sorry for interrupting, but what if you don't just add that response body? What will happen then?
What if you don't add it?
Yeah.
What if you don't add it? So if you don't add at response body, then what you are saying is that my response, please use it as a traditional website. So this itself is not a response body. Then what you need to do is put this guy into model, and the regular Spring MVC accept couple of return types. Your return type can be string, a logical view name. Your return type can be a model. Your return type can be a model and view, right? From there, it gets the data and put it into request scope and pass it on to your JSP if you did not provide it. So here you are saying that, hey, none of that is required. This itself is a response body. Okay? Marshal me into the appropriate type based on the content that's asked for. If your XML is asked, this guy will be converted into XML based on the view. And if JSON has been asked, this guy will be, understand here, this guy will be used or marshaled as a response body. That's what it means.
So when we say at response body, by default it would be providing us the results in JSON format, correct?
Yep. I mean,
but what if we want to have it in XML in specific format?
You don't need to do anything. That's my point. So the Spring MVC, how powerful it is, you'll get amazed actually. This product object, right? This product object will be marshaled into JSON or XML based on your path extension automatically if you use your content negotiation view resolver. Did you get it? the same Java object will be translated into XML, and the same Java object will be translated into JSON as well if you use the content negotiation view resolver.
That means in the suffix of the content negotiation.
Yes.
Okay.
So ask for /product/search/suggestions .json will produce the list of product into JSON. .xml will produce the list of product into XML with very minor modifications. What those modifications, we'll talk about it. But whatever the object that you are passing it here will be serialized or will be marshaled into the appropriate type based on your path extension. Does it make sense? That is content negotiation view resolver. You do not have to have, ideally, what should you have? Ideally, get products XML. This should be your method. I mean, if really we don't have Spring, if really we don't have the smartness, you need one method, right? And we need to specify the XML, whatever that marshalling technique is, and then say that, hey, please, I'll call you this one. And here we'll say that /suggestion/XML. So your URL itself is getting changed. And then have one more method, get products in JSON format. You don't need it. That's the beauty of Spring MVC. So your URL does not have to be changed. You do not need separate methods. Your content, based on your content type, actually there are two different types, your path extension or accept header, one of them, your object will be automatically marshaled. I'm going to show you when you call this guy how it's going to convert into JSON. We will look at it. How it's going to be converted into XML without us having to do anything is magic. Okay, let's look into it. That's it. Any questions? Rohit, right? Rohit, did I answer your question, first of all? Let's start with you. Make sense?
Yeah, Venkat. Yeah, got it.
Okay, let's go to our eShop servlet.xml or springconfig.xml. So you have your styles, you have your images, blah, okay, component scan, view resolver, look at it. So you have your internal resource view resolver. So leave this view resolver as is, no big deal. Leave that view resolver because that view resolver will be used. So you have all of these view resolvers and your content negotiation view resolver is going to sit on top of it. And that is going to negotiate with all these view resolvers and find out intelligently based on your content type, which one to use it. Okay. So let's define your content negotiation view resolver. Content negotiation view resolver. Yep. So look at it.
Venkat, why not ID?
Oh, we should have ID, sure.
Or okay, then that opens up a question. That is class another alternative to be given over there?
Where?
Over there, see, you were typing class before, right? And okay, I see what you mean. I see. Okay, you were wanting to type the later part first. Fine.
Exactly. Okay. Maybe I'll answer it. See here, I'm not going to use this content negotiation view resolver. This is not going to be referenced anywhere else in the Spring Config XML, so I wanted to avoid it too.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? You do not need this ID if you are not going to, because by default, the bean name, we know that, right? Your class name without this guy. with the lowercase of that, right? So now this is your
Now the
content
prefix and
negotiation.
suffix.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now the prefix and suffix, right?
No, that is only for internal resource view resolver, right? This is your content negotiation view resolver. And in your content negotiation view resolver, what you need to provide is this
But you would
content.
need the suffix.
One second.
Oh, sorry.
Let me finish it.
Go ahead.
Give me next few minutes, okay? So the content negotiation view resolver, look at it. The implementation of the view resolver that resolves a view based on the request file name or accept header. The content negotiation view resolver does not resolve views itself, but it delegates to other view resolvers. By default, these other view resolvers are picked up automatically from the application context. Okay? Can be specified. So this content negotiation view resolver takes, there is another class called content negotiation manager. Okay, you need to specify the manager. So that content negotiation manager, by default, we get a content negotiation manager which manages all the resolvers. So your content negotiation view resolver depends on the content negotiation manager, which actually based on your accept type and based on your path extension, it will automatically resolve it to the appropriate type. So here, you have your setter here. Look at it, content negotiation manager. So this content negotiation manager is what we need to define it. So to define it here, to provide it here, we need to define that content negotiation manager first, right? So let's define it. Bean ID equal to content negotiation manager, class equal to content negotiation manager factory bean. See here, Spring is automatically providing a factory bean, meaning it's providing a factory that produces this content negotiation manager, the default one, whatever Spring provides it. So here you can specify whatever you want to specify. I'll show you. See here, the default content type you can specify. Hey, if he didn't ask for .xml, he didn't ask for .json, what would be the default content type? What do you want to provide it? Well, you can provide the default content type to probably HTML. What do you want to do it? Text/HTML or something, right?
No.
Or you can do a default type can be JSON.
Plain.
Hello? Someone is speaking. Jyoti?
No, Venkat. I was saying text slash plain.
Oh, text/plain, exactly. Text/plain, text/HTML, or you can make your JSON as your default stuff. And then this is your default content type. Favor parameter. So indicate whether a request parameter should be used to determine the requested media type. Did everyone understand what is the media type? So let me spend a minute here. So /product /search, okay, let's say .json. So here what you are saying is that, hey, I need the data in the JSON format. Now you can say that .html, I need the data in HTML. You can say .xml, I need the same data in XML format. Or you can say let's say PDF. Hey, I need the data in the PDF format. Okay? Your browser, I want you to understand this. Your browser, when you go to certain websites, they say that, hey, here is your PDF, click on it. As soon as you click on it, your browser automatically opens up that content in PDF viewer. That could be your Adobe or your Microsoft, whatever that one is. How do you think your browser knows? How do you think your browser knows? Or there is an XLS file, there is an Excel file. So your browser automatically opens up your Excel to open this Excel. How do you know that? How do you think your browser knows about it? Like your zip file, it automatically opens up the appropriate. That is actually based on your media type. That's also called accept headers. So when it flushes the response, when you ask for something, browser by default, all these while we have been looking at this website. For the last 2 months, we have been building the websites using various technologies, servlets, JSP, and later Spring MVC, right? All these while, this content type is application/HTML. That is why browser is able to paint that like a nice HTML. But if you say that my content type is PDF, your browser is intelligent enough to open up your PDF viewer. If you say that you a zip file, then whatever is specified, the associated application will be opened for it to do something about it. These are all media types. This is all content types. So it can be.
These are all the like accept header, accept language,
Yes.
accept encoding, and all these headers, correct?
Yes. Especially accept header. Okay, I mean you can specify your encoding, etc. So my point is, yeah. So this can be specified with, there is a HTTP header. There is a HTTP header called accept type. Maybe I can show you this. Accept header. Let's go to google.com and then I'll show you probably the network. Or let's go to our weather service here. Sorry. Yep, look at it. So on the response back, we got this one, content type is application/JSON. So what it is saying, the browser is, hey, whatever I'm sending is a JSON. Okay. This is how your browser will know that. If application/PDF, your browser will automatically know that, oh, this is a PDF application. Let me open my Adobe guy, okay, for it to handle it. These are all the media types. Okay.
In the below, actually, there is a request header where we have the accept also. Go below, request headers, accept.
Yep.
The first one.
This is your request when you send it.
Yeah.
When you send it, this is actually the content that you got from your response. This is what your browser requested it. Okay. And then this is what your server sent it to your browser saying that, hey, I'm a JSON. If there is an application that is defaulted to open up your JSON, then automatically that particular application will be open, your PDF, right? So anyways, so these are all the media types here. Media types can be specified either with your extension. This is your Spring MVC specific. With Spring MVC, with your content negotiation view resolver, you can specify as this your path extension, or you can also specify in your accept header, in your request header, you can ask for it. Where is that guy? Yep, you can ask for it. You can tell it, hey, you know what? I'm asking for JSON. Please give me the JSON. Here you can specify that application/JSON. When you ask for it, you have two ways. I want you to understand this one. You have two ways. Your URL can be appended with your .json, .html, .xml, or you can just say /search, but change your accept header. Change your accept header, and here you specify that application/JSON is what I'm looking for. And how do you change this accept header? Do you know how we change it? Because your browser didn't mention anything. How can we change the accept headers? You need to use tool like REST client to be able to do that. Okay, in fact, I deviated a little bit. The default content type is text/HTML, and favor parameter, favor path extension. So you see here, favor path extension. Path extension is, hey, if I have in my request parameter, in my path extension, in my accept header, which one needs to be favored? Then one of the ways is what some people do it. Hey, you know what? Ignore accept headers completely. Okay, ignore what I'm sending in the accept header here. Whatever I sent it here, please ignore this guy. Please rely on my extension in the URL is what you are saying here. Ignore the accept headers and please rely on my path extension only is what you're saying. But by default, ignore accept headers is false. So you don't need to. If you take out this one also, your application still works exactly same. Okay. So this is your content negotiation view resolver. You just configured it. What happened? Oh, I need to specify my manager here. That's it. And you have your internal resource view resolver. But one thing we did not mention so far is, okay, I have a product.java, right? I want to marshal my product.java into JSON. Who is doing it? Who is doing it? Your Java objects will be converted into JSON. There are some marshalling techniques for that. One of the tools is called Jackson. One of them is called Jackson. So this Jackson will help you read the Java and it will convert the Java object into JSON. That one you need to specify it, because as soon as your view resolver finds out that, hey, this guy is asking for JSON. Okay, I have this list of products. Who can convert my list of products into JSON? We need to specify that. Okay, for that, we don't have a Jackson here. So what we will do is, let's open up the dependencies. So let's add Jackson mapper ASL. We need this dependency. Yep, whatever the, I already have 1.9.5, so I'm good. And then with this is to translate your Java objects into JSON. And you need one more library to translate your Java objects into XML. Actually, Spring uses this library called OXM, Spring OXM. So we'll use this one. So we use this API or this library to translate Java objects into JSON. We use this one to translate Java objects into XML. JSON, XML, JSON, XML. That's it. And then you refresh your Maven.
Venkat, the PDF that you mentioned, PDF as one of the formats. Hello.
Tell me.
Oh, okay. You can hear me. Okay.
Yes.
See the PDF for that. I can really do that, or do I need something else for that to happen? Because then in that case, I can convert to PDF file without buying the software.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All you need is there are some PDF writers, right? Like Java APIs. That's little deviation. There's something called iText. Okay, use that. So you build your PDF, and all you have to do in your response is that it's application/PDF, and your browsers will nicely open up your PDF viewers. Okay, there is a class called mapping Jackson. This guy, JSON view. So this particular class needs to be configured in your Spring config XML, and your content negotiation view resolver automatically understand that, oh, okay, this is what I need to use to convert my Java objects into JSON. This is what used to marshal your Java objects into JSON. Okay, that's it. You just specify that, everything works magically. I mean, from JSON side. XML will worry about that later. Are we clear so far? That's it. We don't need anything. We defined, let's take a look at it.
Venkat, can we go step by step what we did again, please?
Absolutely.
Yeah, please, please.
Okay. To expose RESTful web service using Spring MVC, your internal resource view resolver is not sufficient. Internal resource view resolver will help you produce the content to forward your model to the appropriate JSP page. That is what your internal resource view resolver does. But to be able to translate your Java objects into either JSON or XML, first of all, you need a marshaller. Okay, let's just take step-by-step approach, Jyoti, and everyone, right? So we need a marshaller to be able to translate your Java object, because we are not doing anything. The point is, I want you to understand this one. Product search, right? Okay. Product search controller. I want you to understand something here. We are just passing this Java object, just list a product, and we want magic to happen, right? So we want this one to be automatically translated into JSON. So generating XML or JSON from a Java object is called marshalling, and we need a marshaller. And that marshaller, we need to specify it. And there are several techniques, and one of the technique is called Jackson. Jackson is a Java library that translates a Java object into JSON.
Got it.
Understand that point? Let me write it here so that Jackson is a Java library that translates Java classes into JSON. Okay, so this particular class is a marshaller, meaning this is what marshals, or this is what serializes, or this is what translates your Java object, any Java object, into this guy. Are we on the same page so far?
Yeah.
Okay. And we did not specify one for XML. We need to specify one for XML also. Now, you are not changing your, you are not having different URLs for different content type. Your URL is same just by adding your, this is called a path extension. So just by adding the extension to your URL, your Spring MVC is able to translate these objects into appropriate type. How is it able to do it? It is able to do it using a special view resolver called content negotiating. Oh, all these while I've been pronouncing it wrong. Content negotiating view resolver. No problems, right? Okay, good. Content negotiating view resolver. I've been saying that as content negotiation view resolver, but whatever that one is. So what this guy does is, based on your accept type or based on your URL extension, it will automatically take it, and what it does is it registers all these marshallers in itself, right? Then it will understand it. It will actually, this content negotiating view resolver depends on this content negotiation manager. There is a class called content negotiation manager. This factory bean produces this content negotiation manager instances, okay, which will, what it does is, you can specify, you can say that, hey, I want the default content type to be HTML or text slash application slash JSON or application slash XML to be default. If nobody specifies anything, .json is not there, sure, go ahead and provide JSON. You can specify and you can alter your content negotiating view resolver. So what this guy does is, okay, it says that, okay, are you asking for .json? You came to me with .json, then I need to give you back a JSON. First, it will call the web controller with the appropriate URL, and it will say that, hey, give me the data, and it just gives the list of products. Now, what content negotiating view resolver does is, it will look at your extension. You asked for JSON. Then I need to give you the JSON back. You asked for JSON, I need to give you the JSON back. Then I need to translate this object into JSON. Hey, in my configuration, who can do it? You can have this done by Jackson, or you can write your own view which will automatically translate your Java object into JSON. You can do it too, but we don't do it. There is no reason to do it, right? Agree? So content negotiating view resolver will delegate based on your path extension or accept type. It will use the appropriate view to translate your Java object into various formats. That is why the magic is happening. As soon as you ask for .xml, it is able to give you XML, the same object. Of course, I'll get there in a minute. I'll get there in a few minutes. XML is slightly ugly part. I'll get there. But as soon as you ask for JSON, somebody is giving you JSON. Who is giving JSON here? This guy is giving JSON. But who is consulting this guy? Your content negotiating view resolver. Understand now? We only have, oh, by the way, the beauty is here. The beauty is here. Let's say if you're you want to use old-fashioned model and view, right? Let's say public string. Now finally real search. Okay. Whatever this one is, right? Now you can still do this, or you do your model and view, and now whatever this one is, new model and view, and then give your view here. All of this you can do it, okay? And of course at request mapping. So this is your traditional web application. This has got nothing to do with the web service. So your traditional web application and your web service can coexist. Not only in the same application, but it can coexist within the same file, and your Spring MVC does the magic automatically based on the content type. This guy will understand nicely that, oh, you are giving me a model and view, so you're not giving me the really response body. You are not asking me to marshal this guy. You are asking me to pass this model, to put that model in request scope and give it to appropriate JSP page. Sure. For this kind of guys, I will use my internal resource view resolver to appropriately send the model to the appropriate JSP page. So can you imagine any framework that can be simpler than this? Spring MVC made it absolute minimalistic configuration, and it's making your life 100 times better. You have your website, you have your web service can coexist, and you can use the same data to produce the HTML, to produce the XML, to produce the JSON. Everything you're using the same code, and with all of this is happening with a simple content negotiating view resolver, and you provide your appropriate mappers. Seriously? Understand now, Jyoti, Shovan, everybody, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, Venkat.
I don't mind explaining one more time, so please do not hesitate. Understand?
No, it's clear. It's clear. Thanks.
Yeah.
I really, for what it does, it really amazes me. It really amazes me. So look at it now. Now we are just one step away. Let's go ahead and deploy this guy and see what it does with the code that we wrote. Oh, eShop 6.
So what name are you giving to this one? RESTful, right?
I called it eShop RESTful.
Yeah, that's fine. That'll be better. Thanks.
eShop _ RESTful WS, like that. Okay?
Yeah.
And I don't need this guy. Let me remove this guy. I want only one application. Let me restart. Why not?
Venkat, while you do this, in the meantime, let me shoot a question.
Mm-hmm.
That is, you see that in some of the folders, the resources folders, SRC main resources, I see that there is config.xml. Now, since we're using the new thing called eShop servlet.xml, so the old config.xml is not required anymore, right? It's just lying there, isn't it?
Which one?
See that the one in WebINF, that one is the one that we are using.
Right.
That's correct, no problem. But additionally, in some of the folders I've seen, some of the projects folders, I've seen in the source main resources, there is a config.xml.
Oh,
we are not using that anymore, right?
That's bad, actually. I think you told me before also. I should have removed
No, not me. Actually, Madhavi probably had a little problem with that.
Sure.
We're not using that. Okay?
Yep. No.
Just
No.
make
No.
sure.
Yep. No. Absolutely.
100%
That's a great point. Nope. We don't need it.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. I did not even realize it.
That's okay.
Localhost 9090 / RESTful WS. Is that what it is? Nope. eShop _ something, right? So your old application works precisely, right? Your old application works very well. It's just that your old application works very well. eShop _ eShop _ /tiles / okay. Yeah. Good. So your old application works perfectly. Okay. Now the beauty is, what's the URL for us? What did we give? /product /search. Always do a copy paste. /product /search /suggestions /key equal to, let's say, A. Oh, look at it. Understand now the power of Spring MVC. So you gave key equal to A, okay? So you gave the key equal to A. So when you gave this URL to this guy and your Spring config XML came into picture, your eShop servlet, so your content negotiating view resolver automatically came into picture, and then it understands based on your extension, okay, and a couple of other strategies, that what you are looking for is a JSON, because we did not specify the XML marshaller yet. So JSON is the only one at this point. So, but you can specify 100 different formats here. It does not get confused. At this point, we only have one. There's no confusion, but even if you have 100, you can specify what you are asking for here in your URL. Just attach what you are asking for, and then it will ask for it and say that, hey, so it gave a service.getAllProducts got all the products, and now it went through all of them. How many did we get it? ID 3 and ID 4. We got 2 of them. So Apple Watch Sports model and Apple Watch Gold. This price is $499 and this price is $7,500. That's what we have in the database. And this is electronics and this is electronics type. And all of this, did we do anything in this class here? Did we change anything? This product object, your product Java object, has been converted into JavaScript object. Look at that. That is a JavaScript object, the one I highlighted. This is another JavaScript object. So since we got two product instances within this list of product, it gave you an array here. This is an array, right? So array that has two different products here. It automatically translated it. Let's say I'll call it head. So now we have books, right? We have head first Java, $34.65. We have head first EJB, $28.98. We have head first servlets and JSP, which is $34.99. You're asking for head. Now let's say if anything else starts with H, we would have gotten it. Now you want to go to Java training environment, SQL developer. Let's open the SQL developer and then insert more with that starts with H. And I wanted to show you how I want you to understand this is a web service. Now, like how earlier weather API, right? Weather API, JSON, open weather. Let's go there. Is this any different than ours? Tell me. Venkat Krishna, do you think we can expose a web service for this price comparison guys so that they can compare the price? And if we put every product will have that number, right? Some ISBN number or something like that, some product number. If we add that one also, they can easily compare the price, right?
Right, yeah.
What do you think? This is a web service. See here, you are giving the appropriate, let's see what it does here. Troy, Michigan I gave, and then I got the current temperature and everything. Here, same thing. I gave the key, I got it. So let's add more.
So Venkat, so the end user from the browser,
is it local system?
I mean the consumer of that will write an appropriate appropriate program to really read up those JSON files, right?
Exactly. And we looked at that in the last class, right? Once we have this JSON, how we parse it and show it in our websites, we have already looked at using jQuery in the last class.
jQuery, okay.
You guys agree?
Okay.
In the last class, we looked at the client side of it. Somebody gives the JSON, how do we show this in our websites is what we looked at in the last class. But now we are producing them. Okay. So select start from products. So we have all of this, right? So let's do insert into products. Let's say G, right? Okay. Let's start with gone. Okay. See, you got one book, right? Insert into products. Values, product ID sequence, I believe. .next val. Let's say there is. Can you give me one product, not book with the gone or anything? Can you tell me one more? Electronics. Let's say Gone is a company that manufactures drones. Okay, $389.99. It's a decent price.
Nice name for a drone. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I missed some simple stuff here. Make sure the sequence name is, okay. Products maybe? Nope. Yeah. Anyone remember? Let me do.
I have to really bring up my own. I have to start up and all.
Select this guy from Dual, right? Simple. Let's do. What's going on here? The specified sequence does not exist. So product, maybe product seek or something. E, product ID seek. Okay, why not look for that? Why not look for that, right?
Are you looking in the same right account? Right Oracle account?
Local OMS, right? Yeah. Where's my sequences? Products underscore seek. Okay,
simpler than we thought.
You know, one row inserted. Yep. Sorry. What did I do? So we got. Now let's do it. Now gone. What happened? Oh, I did something.
Gone capital. Oh no.
No, what happened? Slash product slash. The web page is not available. What do you mean? Okay. Oh, www. Somehow boy. Okay. I somehow copy pasted it. Okay. Now we got Gone with the Wind, and we also got Gone Drone for $389.99. This is the web service. And now, for this web service, the consumer can be our own search engine. Agree, guys? So, localhost 9090, we can put a simple search bar here, and as you type, we can consume our own web service and do it, but we don't have to be the only consumer for this one. We can expose it, we can sell it to the other people, either sell or for marketing reasons, we can give it for free for other people and say that, hey, you know what, price comparison, guys, we always beat Amazon price. So to prove that, call our web service, and anytime, you know, you can compare it. If you have that much confidence, we'll say that, hey, this is the endpoint URL, and the input is key and whatever the value, and this is how I give it. I give the ID. We don't have to give it actually. I'll give you the category here, type. I'll give you the product name. I'll give you the product ISBN number or something, and I'll give you the price. Go, we beat everybody's price. How about that? Right? And this is JSON, right? Now let's look at the XML. So XML is a slightly big deal. That's why we started. That's why SOAP-based web services and XML are kind of now going away. I mean, they're not dead completely, but kind of going away, right? Okay. So what
will go away?
What is that?
Even the XML will go away? XML, that will go away?
Not really go away, but JSON is more preferred data format nowadays because of you know, not only for succinct, but yeah, and it has its disadvantages. It's not readable. I can't read this guy. You need something like JSON validator. You can just put it here, and then this guy will put it this way. See here? Now it's slightly readable. I mean, not slightly, it's definitely ID equal to 1. Definitely readable. So Gone Drone, right? But XML is more readable, and it has proper grammar, all that stuff. Yeah, but the payload size is much smaller. And in fact, JSON is not only on the client side anymore. People, any Oracle people, really Oracle passionates here, not only Oracle, right? A lot of these NoSQL databases are emerging. MongoDB,
Mongo and all those things.
MongoDB, Cassandra, CouchDB, all of these, you know, NoSQL databases, they're dumping the data in the form of JSON. Can you believe it? As is, JSON is getting dumped because Yeah, gone are the days where table will have a very rigid columns and all the structures, normalizations, all of those days. No, I'll just have one column. I'll just dump the whole JSON into that. And they're providing SQL to read through the JSON. So JSON is getting really popular. Anyways, that's different. It's not my, I'm not here to market JSON. So we need to specify the marshaller for XML, right? We need to provide marshaller for XML. So for that, we use Spring's marshaller. It's called JAXB2 marshaller. Spring OXM has this JAXB2 marshaller, and we will provide ID. Say that whatever this one is, JAXB marshaller, and you provide your JAXB marshaller. And another one is provide the JAXB marshaller. It is not going to marshal every single object. You have to specify this one here. Actually, classes to be bound. So there is a property here called classes to be bound, and this is a list of classes here. So you need to provide a list here, and then this is how you specify in Spring. You can specify the list here. So you provide all of your classes that need to be marshaled by this JAXB2 marshaller. Okay, and in this case, we want our product to be nicely marshaled. So you'll say that, nope, it's not working. So I'll copy paste. So I want my product Java object to be marshaled. When I say to be marshaled, what do I mean? To be converted into XML using this marshaller. This is a JAXB marshaller. This is a JSON marshaller. Are we clear? This is XML marshaller. This is JSON marshaller. This will translate a Java object into XML. This will translate a Java object into JSON. This can translate every single Java object that you give. This one cannot do that because it depends on an API called JAXB, Java Architecture for XML Binding, which mandates certain things. I'll tell you what those certain things are, and that's it. You need to specify it. And this is your marshaller, right? Now, this is your Jackson view. We got it. Now we need a XML view, right? So we need an XML view, like how we have JSON view. Now we need a XML marshalling view. So what this guy does is, these two are equivalent. Under the hood, this mapping Jackson JSON view directly uses JSON, and here this marshalling view under the hood uses this JAXB2 marshaller. So you just specify which marshal you're using, and there is a actually constructor here that takes your JAXB marshaller. So what we are specifying is these two are. This is exactly like mapping Jackson JSON view for XML. This is for XML. Okay, this is for XML, and this is for JSON. Right? This is for JSON. But again, for XML translation or XML marshalling, there are a lot of libraries out there. Lot meaning I'm not talking tens. I'm talking about a couple of libraries out there. Your JAX-B reference implementation is one of them, and XML beans, and there are a couple of other stuff. So here in this case, what we're doing is that, hey, marshalling view, I know you will take care of XML, okay? But what mechanism are you using, or what strategy are you using to marshal a Java object into XML? Okay, I'm using provide me any marshaller, and I will translate. I will call that particular marshaller and translate any Java object into XML is what this view does. I will provide you an XML view, like I will provide you a JSON view, like how mapping Jackson JSON view is saying that you give me the view details, I will provide you a JSON view. Here I'll provide you an XML view. To provide the XML view, you need to provide me the marshaller. Which marshaller do you want me to use it? Well, we are saying that, hey, please use your JAX-B to marshaller. Okay, and this JAX-B2 marshaller is going to say that, okay, which classes you want me to translate it. That's why I'm saying XML is little verbose, not only in the data format, but even here also. Spring MVC couldn't make it simpler than this. Okay, so here for every single Java object that needs to be converted into XML has to be provided here. Understand? And there is a one small thing. Every Java object that needs to be converted into, that needs to be marshaled into XML, your class needs to have an annotation called @XML root element. This is a JAX-B bindings. I talked about this in depth, okay? And I think I mentioned to you a couple of times. Please. I talked in depth some time back. I don't need to do this for every batch. So training.com training. Oh, HTTP. What do you mean? Yeah, BISIY. Okay, so here, this is one of those things. Before you actually go for a real interview, I highly recommend you watch this guy. I talked about JAX-B here, Java architecture for XML binding. Okay, so your object needs to have this annotation, that's all. And the second point is that you cannot give list of products like this, because your array list does not have this annotation. So your JAX-B marshaller will not work. So when you're dealing with the list of something in XML world, okay, in JAX-B world in specific, okay, what you need is, you need another object that acts as container for this. So like how you have product, you need something like products or list of products. Okay, and now this guy needs to have @XML root element. Every class that needs to be marshaled should have this one. Now you can, under the hood, you can have something like and here you'll say that @XML element, and here I'll show you with an example what it means actually. Is it name? Yep. And here you can say that Okay, and you need a default constructor, you need getters and setters, so you have to follow certain conventions to uh, marshal properly any.
Bean convention, right?
Yep, Java Bean conventions.
Bean
And
convention.
here also
Thanks.
you don't have the default constructor, so you need to have the default constructor, otherwise your code doesn't work. And then also looks like you don't have setters, so you need to provide the proper setters. These are all your XML mess here. If you want XML, you need to follow the Java Bean spec properly. And who mandates this one? There is an API called Java Architecture for XML Binding, JAX-B. Okay, so that's it. So now what you have to do is, rather than sending the list of product, you have to send this object back called products. Okay, now you got all the products here. Now what you do is list of products equal to like this, new products. We can do something like this, and then create a simple add method here, public void add product. Okay, give me the product, and now we'll say that this dot products dot add. It's a simple Java code. I'm just providing a way to, result products dot add product. I'm adding it to it, and then finally, yep, that's it. So one last thing is, you said you want product to be marshaled, but you didn't mention about the other class, products, right? I want this one also to be marshaled, right? That's it. Now your code, look at it, how your code can translate into JSON or XML based on what you provided, based on what you asked for. So here you are asking for okay, it blew. So you're saying that error creating a bin name marshalling view defined in servlet context, eShop servlet.xml cannot resolve reference to class as two properties. Oh. Oh. You have your products. Let's go. Oh. See here, class has two properties of the same name, products, see here. So one is Java util list get products. This problem is related to the following. Okay, products dot product. So we will say list of product. Let's call it as product. Or let's call it as a list of products. And then let's have getters and setters. Unfortunately, you need getters and setters for every. Yeah, that's why XML, unfortunately, because it depends on the JAX-B. Get list of product. Error creating bean with string egg defined inserted content. A class has two properties of the same name. Let's see. Okay. Has two properties of the same name. List of this problem is related to the following location. Public Java list. Okay. And then products has list of products. Okay, get list of products. Don't need a getter is what you're saying? But how do we? Okay. Oh. Now it's trying to convert it. But the resource identified by this request is only capable of generating response with characteristics not acceptable according to the request accept headers. So it is depending on the accept header here. See here, this content negotiation manager factory bean. So what you do is that, hey, please ignore the accept headers. And then purely rely on what I'm sending here. Don't rely on accept headers. Okay. And then let's restart. Huh. We got it. List of products. Everything is good. What's going on? The resource identify. Okay, let's look at XML. Let's see what's going on. Oh, XML is good. Now JSON is bad. Let's see. Oh, now XML is good, but JSON is bad. So XML works. Why JSON? Let's look at the JSON. Any mapping Jackson JSON view is good. Why are you saying that? The resource identified this request is only capable of generating responses with characteristics not acceptable according to the request accept headers. Okay, everything is good really, but something wrong here. Let's look at it. Actually, I did this. Let me see if anything wrong here. I actually did very similar, or very similar. Oh, maybe this annotation being at the wrong place. Let's look at it. So let's put the getters and setters. It has to be it. Yeah, it's because of Jaxby ugliness. Jaxby ugliness. Okay. Now let's look at it. Did I restart? Go. Sweet. Yeah, this is I put this annotation on at the field level. Interestingly, it has to be on the getter. So there are field level annotations. There are getter annotations in JP also. You have a similar situation. Okay, that's new. So look at that. Now, whatever. So now the same URL without changing anything, XML will give me like this, and then JSON, same web service, everything is same, just by specifying what your marshaller is, and then how you want the data to be converted into the appropriate view. That's it. So once you get the JSON, how you want to do it is up to you. Actually, what I did was, I wanted to show you a real neat example. So what I did here is that let's leave the RESTful web service. So I call it as eShop 9. So let's deploy this guy, and I'll show you what I did. It's the same example I did before the class. I happened to do it last night, and I'll show you what I did. I was the consumer also. Whatever I did in the previous class, I just combined it. That's all I did. So let's go open home page. Let me eShop 6. Let's call this as eShop 9, right? So for the same web service, whatever we just did, Yep. So these are all the products that we by default displayed. and I provided a simple search here. Now look at it. Okay, it's not working. So is it because the URL? First of all, let's take a look at what I have used. Source main web app. What's the URL? What's the URL? Okay, let's take a look at it. eShop 9/product. Looks like it's. Oh, thank you, Uma. Thank you. Let me then. So there is a typo. Huh? I always had that typo. eShop. So whatever the web service that we built, I built the client portion also. Simple. That's what I wanted to say. I mean, we already built in the last class, but I integrated it. So I integrated it. eShop 9, right? Oh, eShop 9. Yep. Very cool. Much better, right? Now, look at it. When you search for it, gone with the wind, gone drone. Okay, let's say now gone with the wind. And then finally, I want what, I got what I want. Thanks for the suggestion. And now I really want to do a search. Once I did it, I submitted the form with this name, and then I refresh the page using this is using the plain simple vanilla style. We have been using it, and this one is with Ajax. And I say that H, for every click, it's actually going to the database and pulling it. Okay, look at it. With every one, see that? It's a live search. Look at it, right? So it's actually going to the database and getting it. But after that, I'm selecting one of them and then saying, I'm selecting this guy and then doing a search, and I'm getting, you can give, you don't want to give list here, but you want to give the actual full details of the product probably. Or if you have more, then yeah, list makes sense. But we got it. You got the concept? And if you want to look at the code, it's exactly same. See here, one is suggestions. Oh, by the way, I'll tell you a small thing here. See here, you can do a request mapping on the class level too, /product/search. Now you can do a request mapping here. So when you do like this, okay, /product/search/suggestions is what the final URL, and /product/search/ is this URL. You can append it. This guy gets prepended to this one, to this one. Okay, so first time you ask me for the suggestions, I built the suggestions and I'm giving it to you back. But next time you come to me with the proper one and doing a HTTP post, and it's a simple model and view. So this is for my website, and this is for my Ajax call. So perfect, right? Once I use this Apple here, Apple Gold here, once I click on search, now I'm doing a HTTP post in a traditional way. But to build the search, I'm using this web service. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, guys. Any questions I can take?
Venkat, yes, I got a couple of questions, but not from this class, but something to do with Spring MVC, very recent stuff.
Okay.
Okay. One thing is, see, if you remember that what's that called? Home controller, not home controller, a sign-up controller.
Okay.
See, in the sign up controller, there were two methods. One was empty form and another was sign up.
Right.
One was do get, one was do post.
Yep.
Now, see, this comes from the previous tradition of servlets, and in the servlets, in the stubs, there were do get and do post only. So, should we expect only two methods in a controller? One should be for do get, do post, or could we write more methods? And if so, how would it know? And if it is do get or do post, how would it really come there? How does that work?
Anyone? Anyone? From the web browser, it's a simple answer, Shawan. From the web browser, if you go to google.com, this is a HTTP GET. Now, here, if you do, now in your JSP or your HTML page here, once I click on search, right? I'm doing this as a HTTP post. In that case, your do post will be called.
No, that's not my question. That's fine. The fact of going to do get or do post is very clear. You pretty clearly explained, and there's no question about that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this, but can there be more than two methods?
Oh.
Like empty form was one get method and sign up was the post method. But can there be more methods like X, Y, Z?
Absolutely. You can have hundreds methods. So /sign up. So the same URL with get, this method will be called. Same URL with post, this method will be called. Same, let's say, see, that's why your REST, that's where this whole thing comes up, right? Let's say in the resource-oriented architecture, let's say you are deleting a resource here. Same URL, or it's a different URL. It doesn't matter. /customer, okay? Give me an ID to delete. Okay. Sorry. /customer, give me the customer ID with HTTP delete method. This method will be called. Whatever it does, that's different story. You know, it's a simple Java here. But /customer with HTTP delete
will bring it here.
Will bring it here. Simple. /sign up with HTTP post will bring it here. /sign up with HTTP get will bring up here.
Got it. No
Make sense?
So that, yeah. Actually, that was the confusion I had. That's fine. So that one is clear. And then, you know, from time to time, I have seen you do in the Eclipse, I've seen you really open up a jar file.
Okay.
Open up a jar file means in the sense that you can see the contents of the jar file. How do you do that?
The class files. Sure. That's a good question. You know, now one of the, today, a couple of jars that we introduced are, today are OXM, right? And OXM is one. What is the other one?
Any jar file from Maven dependencies. Yeah.
So click on the Maven dependency. Just go to JUnit, for example, or
anyone.
See here. Just click on it. But you're only getting the .dot class files here. So JSON. Where is that?
I can see that here.
JSON token, let's say. Okay. So now once you click on it, that's a class file. But you're under the hood, your Maven is bringing up the corresponding, corresponding source file, and it's showing it to you like this. But if you don't
Maven is doing that, right?
Maven is doing that. But until this point, your regular.
That was just, I mean, like navigating to the folders.
You got it.
That's fine. But the point is opening up that Maven is doing. Okay, that's fine.
You got it.
Okay, then you see that JMS in the JMS tutorial class.
Yes.
What does that have? What's the content of that?
Very good point. Where is that guy?
In the previous to previous. Sorry.
I mean in the current one. Okay. So this JMS is a different architecture. When you want to have two different applications talk to each other, somewhat legacy applications, and this application. We talked about all these while we have been talking about the web services and all that stuff, right? But it doesn't have to be web service. There is another ways that application A can talk to application B, that is called through JMS, especially through asynchronous, meaning you do not get the response immediately. You drop a mail at the post office here, or mailbox here, okay? This is a pipe. I'm a bad drawing, okay? So this guy, you asked for some information. Somebody will
Oh,
be
yes. I remember.
listening here, meaning somebody will go and check. Okay, he'll get the response, he will get the request, and whenever he's done, maybe it's a couple of seconds, maybe it's 2 days, he will respond back and he'll put it in the mailbox, and then
Message queue. Okay,
message
I
queue.
got it.
Yep,
I got it.
that's all
Okay.
JMS. In JMS, you have two different philosophies: P2P and publish subscribe model, etc. Very important one, but I discourage you go and do it now. So
I'll do it later.
first do all the web-based stuff first, okay? And then JMS is towards the end because it's a different architecture, and you don't need it every project really.
Yeah, that's true. Those are all different type. Message queuing is a different area completely. I know that.
Exactly.
But I had forgotten what the content was. Now, another one is, see, in servlets, we sometimes require to go from do get to do post.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, over here, is it also possible in our controllers?
It's possible. You can do that. But the simple concept there is, that even though, see, you wanted to encourage everyone to use do get, okay? Let's say somebody comes with do post. Even though somebody comes with do post, you don't want to penalize him by saying that, sorry boss, I do not respond for do post. Rather, you're actually sending him to do get. You are internally calling do get so that he will still be responded as if he had gotten to do get. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple mechanism, strategy that we all use it.
Yeah. But point is, if it requires me to really post data into database, and if for some reason I have to jump from do get to do post, I have to just only call the function, right?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine. That's all. That's about it for my questions. I don't have anything else.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, that's all I have, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much. It was an excellent course, and I mean, I don't know what to say.
Thank you.
I'm overwhelmed.
Thank you. I just wanted to say one thing, that you have learned way too much in this short span. So some of you, especially for new people who came to to this programming background, it'll be too much. So it's very normal. I wanted to say that it's very normal. You just take your time. Okay, never lose the focus. It's easy to give up. Please do not. So just keep meeting, just keep spending time, and that's all it takes. I'm sure within 3 to 4 weeks, okay, every one of you will be in excellent shape. All of this will go into your bloodstream. It will not go now. I did too much for what we have been here for the last 4 hours, I think, right? No, three and a half hours. So, right? So everything will not go into your brain right now. Okay? So go watch it a couple more times and then go back and watch it. So whenever I get time, I want to rebuild my website too, to navigate easily and combine, consolidate all of this. So, okay.
Thank you, Venkat, for your dedication. Thank you so much.
No problem, sir.
Thanks, Venkat.
Thank you. No problem. No problem. I mean, I hope you got something from this course, oral.
Definitely.
I
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Venkat. And I have one question.
yep.
When will you have another training? I mean, when will you start the next one?
Uh,
My cousins were there.
right.
That
Thank you for yeah. I don't know that honestly.
oh,
I'm
okay.
taking break for now. So
Yeah, it was a really it's nice course, Venkat. Yeah. Everyone can understand
thank you.
very clearly.
Only one feedback I can take for every batch. One thing that I can definitely take for myself is I can never finish this in 3 months as I want it to be, but I don't go by time. I wanted to go by by your. If I had crammed it, it would have been even harder actually. So
It
that's
was end to
totally
end actually. The course, the greatness of the course is it was end to end. Like from Java to the RESTful web services, and you are so thorough about each one of them. I mean, like that's so great actually.
thank you.
Why, no?
Wonderful. I wish you all the best. And, I'm just a phone call away for any time. And let's talk about, give me 2 seconds actually. I'll just stop the recording so we can talk about what we do next, right? Meaning,
Yeah.
how you guys meet and all that stuff.
Yeah, actually, I have from myself. I've sent
One
texts
second.
to many people.
I'll just stop the recording because we're good to go, right?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good to go.
Thank you.